Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of Pilot Life. Today we're going to be talking about my first and second private pilot lessons. They were super fun and I'm excited to tell you everything about it. Alright, here we go. Alright guys, so my first lesson was super fun. I showed up at about 8 o'clock in the morning and my instructor's name was Tony and I met him for the very first time. And he was a super cool guy. We sat down in the lobby area of the school. We were actually the first ones to go up that morning. And he kind of gave me some briefing. He kind of checked in with me to see like what all I had learned, which honestly wasn't a ton up to that point. And he asked me about my long-term goals as far as getting my license. Am I doing it for the military just so I can have it? Am I doing it for a career? And so anyways, after that we went out and basically did the same thing that we did in the introductory flight that I did with George's Aviation. We did the checklist. Obviously that'll be the same every time. And then we just kind of practiced some maneuvers. We flew up to the North Shore again. We practiced some slow and steady flight. We practiced some power off stalls. And the stalls were like not really what I expected. You know, when I thought of a stall, I was thinking super big, exaggerated movements, right? Like you're pulling up, super slow flight, and then it stalls, and then you just like immediately nosedive. But that's not really what it's like at all. You barely feel it, and if you do it right, you correct the stall before it even turns into a mess at all. So that was fun. And I've never been sick in an airplane before at all, but this time I got pretty darn sick. So the weather had been pretty rough that week, and he actually had to cancel what was supposed to be my first flight lesson about 2 days before that, and that's when I was making that video. But towards the last 20 minutes or so of the flight, it was really bumpy, and again, just the motions and the feelings that you feel on a small plane are just a lot more exaggerated. And I think the biggest thing is that I didn't eat breakfast that morning, and I hadn't had anything to drink, and just that combined with all of the things going on. Anyways, I had to put all of my mental faculties into not throwing up, so that was a bit of an adventure, and honestly it kind of not ruined the lesson, but it made me start to have like a little bit of doubt, a little bit of worry, like, oh, like if I can't even fly in this thing, you know, how am I supposed to be a pilot? But you know, he told me, oh, just eat some breakfast next time, and you know, it'll get better with time, and it did. My second lesson, it was a lot better, and the second lesson was pretty similar to the first one. The main differences were he let me take off this time. He on the ground before the second flight, we did a lot of just kind of going over the speeds that you need to know when taking off and when, you know, climbing at the best rate of climb and things like that. So it was super fun, and I'm excited to keep going. So yeah, it was pretty fun. I think the first lesson I probably had control of the plane maybe only like 30%, 40% of the time, and this time it was probably closer to maybe 60, 65% or so. So I got to actually fly a lot more this lesson. And when we got back to the ground, he kind of explained to me, you know, like as time goes on, he's going to give me a lot more responsibility as far as taxiing out, making the radio calls, taking off. He's already comfortable with letting me do that. And another thing that he talked about was how probably 50–60% of my total flight training is actually going to be just staying in the flight pattern at the airport and practicing landings. From what I understand, and it doesn't seem to be very argued about, but the most difficult part of getting your private license is just nailing the landings, because there's so many different factors, and it just takes a lot of practice. So yeah, my third lesson is tomorrow, and at this point I have, I think, about 4.6 hours or so, so I'm a tenth of the way through my my training, or at least the minimums. You know, it might be closer to 50 hours or so, but I'm excited. It's been a lot of fun. And my gear that I've ordered should be coming pretty soon. Actually, my headset came in the mail. I'm super excited to have my own headset and not have to rent the kind of the grungy, cheap ones that they work. You can fly with them, but it's kind of difficult. Anyway, so I ordered the Lightspeed Tango headset, and it's super nice on the ground, at least. Obviously, I haven't tried it in the plane yet, but it's super comfortable. It's wireless, so I'm excited about that. No wires. You can use Bluetooth. Obviously, I won't be doing that during my training, but you can listen to music in the background and set it to calm priority so that you can, you know, it'll automatically dim the music and boost the radio. And I've got a kneeboard coming in the mail, and I've got a logbook finally coming in the mail. So my hours will be official finally. But yeah, some of the other gear that we've had to get is like an iPad. For flight on the iPad. But a lot of people use iPads now instead of the sectional charts. Primarily, at least. Obviously, you keep your charts as backups. But yeah, I'm super stoked, and we'll see you guys next time.